Welcome back to Divekick Infinite. This is our normal Tuesday, and we'll be going over Johnny Gat, the character, today. Johnny Gat was a character that was added after the AE edition. Johnny Gat was he came out during a time I think the Saints Row 3 game came out, and this was a cross promotion with the Divekick game. They found each other on Twitter and they decided to make this happen, so they brought Johnny Gat to Divekick. And Johnny Gat actually has dive kicks in the Saints Row 3 game. He's a very interesting character. The devs wanted to bring back, or wanted to revisit that 45 kick angle to try to make Gat a little bit simpler and closer to the original dive and kick of the game. And so they added him, and I'm going to do a lot of my comparisons based off of that, off of dive and kick, because they're so close and they're so detrimental, but not detrimental, but they were used as a standard form to kind of draw Johnny Gat from, I believe, anyway. So let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and try to jump into versus and get our screen up so you can kind of see what Johnny Gat's all about. Alright. Let's load in here. We do have the same mic issues from last time, or sound issues. Please let me know. You should hear game sounds as well as the mic. Alright, let's go into versus and pull up Johnny Gat. They do have his guest appearance location. Oh, it's Saints Row 4. Sorry about that. I thought it was Saints Row 3. Maybe I was just aware of 3 before 4 came out. That's why I misquoted 4 there. And I'm gonna bring out dive because I feel like there's a lot of similar characteristics, and we can use it to compare in the verses.
How much murder do I get to do?
We're gonna start off with the kick gem as usual. I think I do like Johnny Gat with the dive gem, but just to keep things simple, we're gonna go ahead and stick with the kick gem.
Yes, from above.
Alright, just like other character discussions, we're gonna focus on his normals, and this is what his normal jump looks like. I'll move forward just so you can see his kickback. His kickback goes pretty far. Notice it goes about as far as he can kick, and that's his kick right there.
That wasn't in my calculation.
I want to give a little bit more detail on his jump and his kick. So his jump, you'll notice that he lands about the same time dive does, but he doesn't go as high, and that's because he has a little bit lighter gravity than dive and kick. But his jump is it's closer to kicks than it is to dive, or at least for his neutral. On his kickback though, it's actually really close to dives. So I'll try to get them really close together and try to do the kickback at the same time. So maybe I'll use a fast fall to get there. Alright. So you notice that angle there that both dive and Gat have is about the same. The one thing that Gat does is he gets out of the way a little bit faster than dive does, and I'll try to show that again next round. But his kickback is pretty quick in retreating. Because he has that less gravity, he tends to move faster, even though the values for the kickback are about the same. Oh, try to get close so I can show that kickback again. 1 second here. Alright, let's try that again. Yeah, you'll notice that they have the same arc, they land about the same time, but Johnny Gat tends to get in the air a little bit quicker than dive. And the minimum kick for Johnny Gat is a little bit higher than dives, so that type of DK KK move you're seeing will be a little bit chunkier than dives. So I'm going to do a quick DK with Gat. Notice that dive does travel a little bit less distance. Let's do that again. And the KK movement, it's not as low as dive, see? So overall, he has like a jump from kick, but a little bit higher. A kick back from dive, but a little bit faster. And then the kick is the same angle as dive and kicks, but his speed is it's closer to dive than it is to kick. So he has a lot in common with dive except for his neutral jump. Um, the other thing about his natural or his normals is that his kick, and then let me get into a pause frame so you can kind of see what the kick looks like. I'll try to get dive in there too so we can do a comparison. So, let's see, jump, kick, okay. Jump, kick. Oh, they're both a little too low. Alright, I'm just going to show Johnny Gat first, but I'll try to get dive in there as well.
This from above. Round 1, Divekick.
Alright, let's take a look at Gat's kick here. So Gat, Aizen has an outstretched foot, and it's a little bit lower than his main body. This elbow over here is hittable, so that's something to watch out for as Johnny Gat. It's a little bit tougher to get underneath kicks because they can actually tag you right here in the elbow. But his kickbox is pretty good. He has pretty much his full foot is a kickbox, and then it trades only about up to there. Oh, a little bit lower, a little bit up to there, and it's outstretched and low. And this is good for a good footsies game, although it does have problems trying to hit characters above him since he doesn't jump that much higher than kick, and his kick is outstretched and low. It makes it a little bit harder for it to hit characters that jump a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and pull up dives. Or actually, let's see where he lands from here. So let me get into the game real quick. I don't know if you can notice exactly where his foot lands and where his feet end up being. So right here you can kind of see that, let's get his foot so it kind of lands right before. I don't know if you noticed it, but he can actually kick just a little bit further than he actually lands. And that messes around with, I think he kicks about, maybe about right here. That messes around with trying to time and hit his foot is a little bit hard because his dangerous boxes are a little bit more in front of him before he lands, kind of like how Kong is, where when she kicks, she has this, triangle type movement where she kicks and she lands like about here, but her feet are up here right before she lands. And so if you're trying to tag her down here, you have to be worried about getting hit by that. It's a similar thing when you're talking about Gat, where when you're trying to tag his foot, you actually have to aim like over here, and he's threatening all the way up to there. So it is something to watch out for when playing against Gat and when playing as Gat. And similar character would be, I guess, Redacted. Redacted has a little bit of an outstretched foot, but I believe Johnny Gat's is outstretched just a little bit more. Doesn't have the same hitbox, the same awesome hitbox that Redacted does, but still pretty good. I don't know if you also, in addition, I was pausing the game. You can kind of see his extra landing stance there from a kick. His landing frames is a little bit special in that he does this little bend, and let's brighten this up a little bit. And his head kind of moves forward. So this will duck Kong kicks if she doesn't time it correctly and tries to go over right when you've moved your head down and below and forward. But overall, it's usually a detriment because this is also a turnaround. If you're in this spot, they can hit you if they're aiming for the shoulder. They're going to hit you in the head instead. But you are a little bit lower when you land, so it is something to be aware of. Especially if you're when you're facing Gat, if you have a kick that aims a little bit higher, you want to know that, you know, if you aim exactly when they land, you could possibly miss because Gat does a mini duck when he lands. I think this land is it happens from a kick or a regular jump, so it should happen every single time he comes down from the air. Let's go ahead and show that again. Oops, gotta go back to the game. Yep, there's the kickback. Oop. Okay, I'm bad at pausing, but we'll see if I can catch the next one. But it should be from any jump or kick, he'll have that similar duck. Yeah. Let's see. What's next? I think that might be it on his normals. Just to summarize it again, his neutral jump is a little bit higher than kicks, and it's floatier because he has the low gravity. His kickback is similar to dives, but it's faster. The kick speed is similar to dive, but he has an outstretched foot. And be wary about his landing because it does duck a little bit and move his head just a little bit more forward. All right, we're going to go ahead and talk about specials now. Going to go ahead and build up some meter to kind of get into that. All right. His air special is a grab gun, which affects the other player's gravity, but and your own, so it affects both characters. So you can do it off of a jump, and it shoots that black hole, and you'll notice that dive kind of slowly moves toward the center of the black hole. It won't pull you off the ground, but if you are in the air, it'll start to pull you on you when you're in the air. But it's good to know when you can activate this. So let me get some meter again, and I'm going to show you guys that it does not work you can't cancel a kick into it. So kicking, I can't do it. You can do it from a kickback and a jump up, but you can't do it from a kick. So that's from a kickback. While one's out, I don't believe, or I think you can put another one out, but let me double check. It seemed like I wasn't able to do one there, so there's the hole. Let's try to make another one. Nope, doesn't look like you can. So if you have a hole out, you won't be able to do your special one more time. You can plink it. Let me see if I can get the. All right, I should be able to do one more kick here. I'm gonna wait for this one to expire. I believe it's 4 seconds, but we can count from here. So there's the plink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 seconds. Decent amount of time. Definitely more than 1/4 of the round. So if you are one kick away, you can go ahead and plink it to try to get that last kick of meter, and then go straight into the special. But it doesn't allow you to do it from a kick. And you can set it high or low, and depending on where it is, it'll have different properties against different characters. I like to use it as a tool to kind of disrupt characters' movement. I like to do it from a kickback, to kind of like force us into a game where we're moving closer to each other. Another way you can use it is you can try to throw it high, and when it's high, it tends to for characters that have smaller kicks or slower kicks like Stream or Kung's is relatively slow. Markman's is relatively slow. It just moves horizontal, and that's why it's a little bit. It seems like it moves fast. Redacted moves way too fast, and but the ones that have slower kicks, you could get them into almost orbiting the black hole. It ends up the forces that pull them in basically cancel out the forces that would allow them to come back to ground, and so you could get characters to orbit, and hopefully we can see that when we do our practice matches. But you see it kind of affects Dive's kickback there, where he kind of got pulled more as he did his kickback. It does affect Johnny Gat as well. And the key things about the hole is, let me see if I can draw this up first. Let's pause it here. Let's go to screen. All right, so let's draw the black hole here. The things to note about the black hole are the spot you don't want to be is right here, kind of like right where the center of the black hole is, because both your options kind of get pulled toward the center. So the pulling is going to be like this, like this, like this. And when you're in the middle, anything you try to do will be kind of nerfed. So your kickback will like be pulled towards, and so you won't go as far back. And if you try to kick forward, it won't go as fast because you're trying to go against the gravity of the hole. And so when you're setting up a hole, you want to put the person in a position where they're in that center of the hole. Thinking about on the outside, if you're back here in front of the hole, when you kick into the position of someone who's trapped there, your kick is actually getting accelerated by the hole as you come in, because it's going along with the forces coming in. So you can use this to your advantage by setting up a hole and kind of forcing them to get through it. Or you can set it low where they're getting it pulled in. The really good kickback of Gat allows you to escape the hole a little bit better than your opponents. There are some characters who are good at not worrying about hole, or going over the hole if it's too low. But the hole is a tool that you can use to kind of, if the other player isn't aware of how the properties work, they could get caught in traps. And it's also, even if they do know, it's tough to move around because you know that you have that extra force that you have to account for. The bad thing about hole is setting it up. Let's go back to the game.
This from above.
Oh, I still got some erasing to do, I guess.
Round one. Divekick.
All right. I feel like there's a little mark there. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the hole itself. When you set it up, you're going to have to make a jump and then come back to the ground. And so normally in Divekick, committing to a jump is a very big, it's a big move, because you have to jump up and land, and you can't do anything during that time. And so when you're setting up this hole, it means you have to leave the ground, put it out, and then land. You cannot kick after you put it out, so you're committed to landing there, and sometimes they can kind of just rush in as you're throwing the hole out to kick you. Let me go ahead and build this meter. So you can't, after you shoot the hole, you won't be able to protect yourself as you're landing. So that's why I kind of like to do it from a kickback, because I get down to the ground faster, and it's a little bit harder to punish me. And if they're trying to punish me through the hole, the hole can slow them down as well. Whereas if it's higher, it has a little bit less. Yeah, they can kind of go underneath and get back to the ground and do another kick again. So when you're setting up this hole, just be wary of that. You can use the hole as a temporary pause in case you make a bad jump. Like, let's say you make a bad jump and Dive can kind of just punish your landing like that. You could use Black Hole to kind of give yourself a little bit more time to avoid that. Oops, let me set it up. Oop, I pressed wrong special. But basically, as they kick and try to hit your landing, you'll be up there pulling out your gun instead, and that means that you can almost avoid a kill. The problem is you still are stuck in that animation where you have to land, so they might still have time to catch up to you, but it is something you can try if you're going to get hit out of the air because you made a bad jump. Alright, we talked a lot about his air special. I think it's time to move on to his ground special. You probably are going to come back to his air special at some point, because I don't think it's that great, but it has produced a lot of hilarious interactions with other characters. And if you know more about it, the better you will be against it, and the better you will use it. But it's still kind of a little bit gambly in terms of you have to make the person put themselves at the mercy of the hole in order to make use out of it. Alright, let's build up some meter for car. I think it's called Valet, but basically Johnny, his ground special, if you press both buttons on the ground, he'll look back and he'll call a car, which is basically a projectile. Yeah. So out there, he kind of looks back, he calls car, and then the car comes and he has to make this jump to avoid his own car. And then it'll go across the screen and it'll aim for the other character. Well, not aim, but it'll just move across the screen. Let's go ahead and brighten it up a little bit. The key points on this car are this front bumper area is the hittable zone. So if you touch that as another character, you're going to get hit and knocked out and lose the round. This windshield, I want to say it's been questionable, but most of the times it's safe. If you end up kicking into the windshield, you could avoid getting hit, as well as the roof. The roof is for sure safe. The windshield is questionable. Sometimes the kick angle doesn't save you, and maybe that's a little bit of, you know, where is this line where the roof begins and where the hood and the bumper ends. But this is bad. This is good, and this is a maybe depending on your character. If you do end up landing on the hood or the safe part of the windshield, you'll just end up bouncing up, and you could like kick again and bounce again as well. It's getting kind of messy here, but basically if you end up kicking and you land on the hood, you'll bounce up off the hood. Not as much as a regular jump, but a reasonable distance. And then you can kind of kick again if you want, and that's if you are the opponent. Johnny Gat in this position here, he can't do anything. He's just stuck in his animation, kind of similar to his air special, where when you do your special, you kind of commit to a jump. Fortunately, this jump has a car coming from behind it, and you're trying to avoid your own car, but you can't kick out of this, and so as the car is moving, you'll land behind it, and hopefully it puts the other player into position where you can punish them. So let's go ahead and let's play out, and you can see it hit dive here. Let's make sure I don't blind. Okay. Oop, there's still some yellow here. There you go. You got hit in the shins with the bumper there. I'm gonna go ahead and show the interaction where you can kick into the windshield slash hood, or windshield slash roof to be safe. There you go. Not exactly sure that hit. Let's see if I can pause it during that. Oh, I think he definitely got hit here. So this is me kicking almost into the windshield and getting hit. We'll try it again and see if I can hit that safe spot on the windshield. Okay, so I guess I hit maybe the top line of that roof there. So you can see him do a bounce. And then he can kick again or land. You can also use a special to fast fall. And let's go ahead and just do a regular, just a bounce off the hood with no kick. There you go. So even if you jump a little early, you could end up bouncing, or you could just completely jump over the car to avoid it if you have a high enough jump on the opponent's side. This is a very telegraphed projectile, and so it's really hard to get to hit someone who's on the ground paying attention. Gat has to turn his head, look back, he makes a significant sound, and then he jumps up before the car comes, and so all of that is signaling to the character that, or to your opponent, that a car is coming. So if you are on the ground, then you're in a reactive position. You should be able to react to this car. It's not as fast as Fencer's projectile, and so you can see it coming from a mile away, so you shouldn't get hit. The problem is there's a lot of movement in Divekick, and sometimes you've already committed to a move when you see Gat call a car, and you might get caught with it. So just remember that it is a possibility, and try not to get caught, because it always sucks to get hit by something you could have prevented from happening. Let's go back in. Now, Johnny Gat using this to his advantage, besides trying to catch the dive in a position where they didn't realize it was coming, they can use it to force a jump. So forcing them to jump puts them in a position that they didn't want to do. Like, they didn't want to jump at that point. So you can try to use that knowledge where you force them to jump, and you have a plan set up for you're going to either try to punish their landing if you're close enough, or you're going to try to bait them to kick into you, and then use your kickback to get out. It basically allows you to force movement from the other character that you can try to set up for. It's kind of similar to Kick's party starter, where you force them to jump, except the party starter also makes them a little bit dizzy, so the jump isn't that high. But obviously, party starter doesn't have a chance for hitting them when you stomp, and the car does. So I think they cost about the same amount of meter, about a half bar for both Kick and Johnny. But you can use the car to your advantage if you understand how to set up punish from a jump, or how to manipulate them because they're in the air. All right. Let's see if there's anything about the car. I'll check my notes real quick. Oh yeah. This might be a little hard to show with Dive, but there is some interaction. I mean, we might save the interaction viewing for later, but the car is tied to Johnny Gat's animation. So there's his back look, there's his jump, and then he's going to land. Let's say that Dive didn't get hit by the car and Johnny Gat got affected by, let's say, glue or spirit bullet. Now, both of those things kind of freeze Johnny Gat for a short amount of time, but the car ends up being frozen as well for a short amount of time. And if you are a Kenny player or a Markman player playing against Gat, you want to be aware of these things, because you can really mess up your timing trying to jump over a car that kind of pauses because Gat is now in glue, or pauses because your homing bullet ended up hitting Gat. Homing bullet from Kenny will make the other opponent freeze for 1 full second, and since the animations of the car are tied to Gat, the car will also be frozen for a second. All right. Hopefully we can show that later instead of me trying to run through Markman here. I think that's about it. That was the only note I had on the car. I do want to give a good reminder about the specials in general, about how they both require a committal jump. I think it's very significant that in order for Johnny Gat to use his specials, he has to make a jump and land for both his air special and his ground special. So whenever you're doing your specials, it's always a commitment where you're moving into the air and landing, and you're committing yourself to a significant amount of frames where you're basically vulnerable to get hit. If they rush you down during your look back and jump, they can kick you. If they rush you down during your fall from your gunshot or your grab gunshot, then you're just gonna die. So be wary, then understand that you do need a little bit of space and time to make Johnny Gat's specials work. All right, let's move on to Kickfactor. So Kickfactor, with Johnny Gat's kind of special, there's no extra speed like most of the cast. He has a friend, Shandi, who comes out. Normally, the camera zooms in on the person activating Kickfactor. For Johnny, it's going to zoom in on his partner, and his partner's going to come out and pull out a dubstep gun, which shoots bullets against, or like purple lasers almost. Here, let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. Unfortunately, I don't have the music on, but the music will also turn to EDM music when this happens. So if you do have background music on, you'll know right away when Johnny Gat has Kickfactor. Let me go ahead and pop it next round. Alright, here we go. So this thing right here is the bullet. Now if that bullet hits the character or your enemy player, it's gonna switch their buttons. So their normal buttons are D to jump up and K to jump back or kick. And if this bullet, oh my god, my writing is horrendous here. Let's see if I can write that a little bit better. Kick is to, let's write the button, is to jump back or kick. If you get hit by this bullet right here, you're gonna have like a, I'll do it on dive here. You're gonna have like a little symbol like this on top of your head, and when that symbol is on top of your head, it means your buttons are now swapped. Dive functions as your kick button, and kick functions as your dive button. And this will last for 8 seconds. Oh, sorry, the whole kick factor will last for 8 seconds. So these bullets that are flying in the air, they'll be flying at different heights, and they'll be doing that for 8 seconds. They travel fairly slowly, so you can kind of anticipate when you're going to get hit by one, and you can see the iconography above your head to know when your buttons are swapped. But still, trying to move around in that state is pretty tough. Gat gets no speed bonus at all for anything. He just gets the bullets that fly through the air, and he's trying to push you into a spot where you're trying to press buttons and they're the wrong buttons, and you inadvertently kick towards them or do something that is something you didn't expect that puts you in a bad position. So let's go ahead and oh. Whoops, I was supposed to pause it and kind of show that icon again, but we'll see it one more time. There you go. There's that icon. I guess I thought it was like something like this, but apparently it's like that instead, or the arrow. So as long as that's above your head, you know that your buttons have been swapped, and you can try to adjust to it. Also, counterplay to that is you could just try, when you're in the air and you don't have enough meter for your special, you could just hit both buttons to try to kick, just so you don't have to worry about not kicking. There is kind of counterplay to it, but it can be confusing, and characters that use more buttons tend to hate this more often, because if you're someone like I guess Kung, who only uses kick a lot, or uses methodical slow presses, you won't be phased by this as much as, say, Mr. N, who has very fast movement that needs to press it in a fast way, or any of the double jump characters having this switch in midair, switch the amount of jumps that they have to do in midair to something different will definitely mess them up. So as Johnny Gat, you want to target your kick factor against those characters who do have a lot of button presses to make their character go around. I think there's one more thing to explain, and that's if you activate kick factor on a kick that hits dive into a headshot, I think, or your opponent to headshot, for some reason there's a bug where the kick factor doesn't like pan over to Shaundi, and so she never comes out, and then you never get those bullets, which kind of sucks. I can't show it here because the last kick will be a win, but let me try to show it on this next match here. Basically, the scenario is if you headshot the other character while you kick on the kick, you activate kick factor, you won't get the animation where Shaundi comes out and starts shooting bullets, and then you'll kind of be in kick factor. It'll be draining, but you actually don't have any lasers in the air that would cause confusion. All right, let's see if I can do this quickly. Oh, darn. Alright, we'll try that one more time. I'll take this time to explain that if you are on, let's say, the opponent's side of the screen, when you activate your kick factor, Shaundi will show up behind you. And that can be a bad situation, and I normally try to activate kick factor by pulling the opponent toward my side of the screen and then activating it, because Shaundi will show up on this side. The reason why this matters is because the bullets will come from whatever Shaundi's side that she pops up, and the bullets travel fairly slowly across the screen. So if you want it to hit the other character and make them mess up their buttons, you're going to have to wait for this travel time to kind of move across the screen. And it's fairly slow, so you're going to be waiting for a long time, especially if all they do is just back up. If you have it where Shaundi shows up behind character, then you'll have bullets coming from, or bullets and lasers coming from this side of the screen, and it'll hit them faster, and also it's harder for them to see those bullets coming to hit them. It might force them towards you. We don't know what it'll do, but it's better to have more use of your kick factor if it's behind them. Now you are giving up space by, let's say you did have space where you're attacking in front of them, and you had most of the center stage. In order to get Shandy to show up behind, you're going to have to give up center stage. So you can decide whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right, so let's go ahead and try to do that headshot activation where you don't see Shandy come out in those bullets. So yeah, there's the bullets that come out. You can see that they're fairly slow. But it'd be much better if they were on the other side. Let's build up this meter, and hopefully I can do a headshot. Maybe I'll have Dive kind of go underneath when I have Johnny Gat jump. Alright. Oh. Alright, so you can kind of see how long it takes for the bullets to come by. Yeah, so that was about 3 seconds for it to actually cross the screen and start hitting Dive. You can see here as the bullets hit him, if he's already confused, it won't start like another full second of confusion. It'll only finish it off, and then if he gets hit by one when it's off, then it'll confuse him again. So there is a little bit of time where like they can't just be swapped controls like entirely. There's going to be a second of time, then there's a short cooldown, and then they get hit by a bullet. After that, it'll swap it again. All right, let's go ahead and try to do this headshot one more time. All right, don't do a kickback. Gotta do a kick. There you go. So notice that Shandy didn't come out. The next round, I have kick factor, but there's no bullets in the air. So this is probably just a bug, not intended, but it's something that happens, and the game's not gonna get changed. So don't forget to, you still have meter during this time, so go ahead and use it for your specials if you want. But just know that your bullets won't come out if you do get a headshot like this. All right, let's move on. Kick factor, no extra speed, dubstep gun, reverses bonus for a second. Yep, I think that's about it. All right. Next topic is common offense. Let's go ahead and continue here.
I'm not paying for that.
I'll pause it on the next round. Okay, so as we previously stated, Johnny Gat's kick is a little bit more outstretched than his landing, and that gives him a very good footsies game. He doesn't have the same movement as dive or kick, but because of his outstretched low kick, it allows him to have very, very quick fast attacks, even if he's not as fast as kick. And being able to kind of get close and use that outstretched foot to kick dive is kind of, or other characters, is kind of Johnny Gat's bread and butter, because his outstretched foot allows him to kick a little bit further, and his kickback is fast to allow him to dodge otherwise things that would otherwise hit like dive or kick if they were to react a little bit later. Let me kind of get him into a kick position so you can see it.
Hate this.
So this position here, I'm headed towards Dive's toe here, but doing this type of movement where you're this close, you can do a fast dodge if they try to kick you. So if you're in a position where you're really close, Gat feels like this right here is pretty fast, and his kickback is fast. That means that situations where you're both in this position, Johnny Gat is going to have the upper hand because his kickback can get out of the way and punish really quickly. So as Gat, you're trying to inch forward and abuse that space where you do better at the reactive footsies game. And the next layer on top of your footsies game is adding in your specials to force your characters into uncomfortable positions by making grab holes in areas where that cause them to mess up that footsies game. So I'm gonna jump back in here.
From above. Round one.
So one of the things I like to do as Gat is if I end up taking a decent amount of space and they're not coming towards me, they're kind of just staying back there. It'll give you room to do a nice big jump, but if you don't have that much room, you could do a small jump and do your air special. Let's back up, dive real quick. So that will pull them towards you, forcing them into a position where you can use your footsies game. And it is still gambling because if you don't play your footsies game right, you're going to get kicked, and that grab hold didn't do much. But it allows you to have an even more dangerous footsies game because kicking towards the hole will make you faster. If you put the hole high, you'll notice that their kickback sometimes doesn't go back far enough. So if you cause them to kick back too early, like just you creeping and being pulled closer to them causes them to panic and make a jump too early, their jump actually won't retreat. So you might want to get a friend and start playing around with these interactions if you want to get deep into Johnny Gat, because the black hole is not a lot of people will know what it does, and if you can get them in positions where see here the low hole, dive can escape pretty easily, whereas Johnny can't. I think knowing the differences like that will be helpful. Let's go ahead and show some other hole interactions really quick. So on the low hole, you'll notice that when I jump, there's like this arc that goes like this, because the neutral jump just goes straight up, but the hole will kind of pull you towards like in this orbiting fashion. It wants to go like that. And you can kind of use it to kind of create a forward jump almost, and then as you kick towards the hole, your speed increases. It'll start to slow down once you pass the hole, but that interaction will be a lot faster because it starts off fast and then goes through. But yeah, if you are interested in Johnny Gat, I would recommend exploring all these hole positions with other characters. And during the matchup, we're going to kind of get into Kung and Markman are pretty notorious for getting stuck, like flying across the screen and just being in the air and not having any downward momentum because of a high hole from Johnny Gat. And hopefully I can show that to you guys later. What else is common offense? I guess the last common offense would be using Kickfactor against characters to basically put them into a position where they're not sure what button's going to press what, and they end up hanging themselves by pressing the wrong button. I would say that it does take Gat a while to build Kickfactor, but his normals are his bread and butter. So use his normals and try to win that footsies game, and then as you're like jockeying for position, you'll eventually get your specials. And if you see a window to use your specials, do so. If not, build up to Kickfactor and have the confusion kind of force psychological pressure onto the other opponent. All right, let's talk about counterplay. Let's go back to the beginning of the match.
Yes, from above. Round one.
Okay, so this position is not necessarily good if you don't have footsies to match Gat or to contend with Gat. So you don't want to be too close to Gat where he can use that ability. But you can also try to make moves to force him to kick back. His kickback is very good at dodging, but it also means that if he doesn't have an attack to do, it makes him lose a lot of space. So, like, let's say he does a kickback here, and you basically did a fake move to make him do a kickback. Now, watch how far it goes. It goes so far back. And let's see if I show you dives. Dives only goes about this far. I think Johnny Gat went all the way back to like the wall, basically. But if Johnny Gat doesn't commit to like a kickback kick, then he's basically going to go pretty far back. And so you want to understand that, and as soon as he does his kickback, you want to get into like the space where he's retreating from, so that you can have more space again to, you know, retreat or mess around in the footsies or build meter. So you want to watch for whenever Johnny Gat does full kickbacks, kick into that, take your space back, and don't let Johnny get all that free space, and not punish him for doing a large kickback. The other counterplay is understanding his specials, and that's something that is going to be hard unless you're like a diehard Johnny Gat fan and you want to lab all the black holes stuff. But just having the basic knowledge can get you pretty far. Understanding that his car, you know, where his car can hit you. Like understanding that the car is only dangerous in front. You can aim over here to bounce off it. Understand that he's using it to set up you to jump to try to get you in a bad position. And if you want, you can try to delay your jump, or don't be predictable whenever you jump over cars, because that'll allow Johnny Gat to plan a kill, because of every time you see a car, you react the same way. And understanding his air special too, will give you at least the upper hand. If you have the same knowledge as him, then you can decide if you want to commit or not, or you can use the same tricks that Johnny Gat uses. So let's go ahead and get a hole out. So there, you can see there that Dive did a nice arc for a nice forward jump as well. So being on that side of the hole, you have the same options as Gat has on his. And just know that you don't want to be in that position where you're in the middle of the hole, because this right here is bad. Like being there, your kickback is slowed down, like it doesn't go as high. Your kick forward, you definitely don't want to try to cross the hole. See that as you try to kick out of it, your kick is slower. So you want to make sure to if you're gonna cross, just understand that you're losing out on speed, and so you're gonna have to take, you know, more kicks to move as the same amount of distance. And as long as you know that, you can kind of play around the hole as it comes up. You could just stay back and build meter as well, and try to get Johnny to pass his hole, but do know that he can also build meter during that time. I think that's it for counterplay, and it did make me think about another thing that Johnny Gat can do, but it does use a lot of meter. If you don't want to use Johnny Gat's Kickfactor, you can combine your hole with your car to basically make it harder to jump over car. It does use a lot of meter, and it's up to you if you want to use all that meter. If you feel that Kickfactor isn't good for you, you could try combining the hole and the car to try to, you know, make them flub into getting hit by the car. But using them both at the same time, I feel like you don't have... usually if I put out a hole, there's a reason I'm trying to set it up to attack with it. And so I usually don't have time to set up the car at the same time. And going to Kickfactor is... I feel it's a little bit better because of the uncertainty. Provides a lot of psychological pressure, where you can basically push them back to the wall if they're scared of being close and not knowing what their buttons are. But it is an option, so if you do, try combining Black Hole and the car together. All right. Let's see. Concussion. Let's talk about Concussion. Get in it? Yes. Okay, Johnny Gat's concussed state is this, like, hunched over. It's almost like his landing frame where he's hunched over. Now, this is a problem because his head being, like, this low on his standing frames also means that the center of his body is right here. So this sets up turnarounds as well. So you want to be aware of that if you're Johnny Gat. You can fall victim to turnarounds. I know that this is lower than Kung's base kick. If she's standing right here, if she does a jump, she'll go over. But usually this position is bad because you're almost like a mini redacted. Your kickback's still pretty good, and your kick forward is still pretty good. So you can try to punish people coming in. You can try to punish them as they come in. But be wary that your head is low and in front, so it can get caught. Let me kind of show how fast that Gat moves during his concussion. His min-high jump, you can see there, causes him to jump a little bit higher, but the outstretched foot allows him to have that foot out a little bit quicker. Let's get him headshot again. Yeah, so it takes some time for that kick to come out, but his kickback, it retreats pretty well still. I would say just worry about them trying to cross up your head, and as you back up, know that when you land, you're still going to be in that crouched forward position. Line play. So line play is a little bit tough with Johnny Gat because of the fact that his jump isn't as high as most characters. Like, he's just above Kick's height. It makes line play pretty tough. He can fight most characters on the ground, and I feel like he does well against ground-based characters, but any characters in the air, he's going to have a tough time at kind of setting up against.
Yes, from above. Round one.
Setting up a hole near or in front of the line can be good, but it also can backfire as well, because that hold is something that it can like speed up the opponent's attack, and some of the airborne characters just aren't affected by it as much because they can jump high enough. And so Johnny Gat's line options are very little, so I would suggest trying to take a lot of space so that you don't have to fight into line, and basically you want to be able to defend line and then put up a hole that's a little bit further in front of the center stage so that you can defend. Like, they have to go way past the middle of the hole, kind of threaten it. Yeah, because that'll make him a little bit slower. But yeah, overall, I'd say I'm not a big fan of Johnny Gat's line game. He does have good ground-based games, so he can try to fight before the line becomes an issue. But other than that, he can try to take space, and I see him better at staying at the line and kind of he can get out of the way with his good kickback and just kick again. All right, let's go ahead and talk about gem selection.
Select your character.
I hate this guy.
Actually, let me go ahead and show Markman here and show a couple interactions.
Buttons? I'm used to 4.
Select your gems.
All right, style gem gives you more meter per kick. I don't believe this is a great gem pick for Gat because his specials are mediocre at best. They're mainly setup tools. They're not like as good as they don't get you constant kills. It's still something you have to work at. And so getting extra meter to get Kickfactor or those specials aren't that great. So I would definitely do a kick gem or a dive gem. I do like dive gem because it adds on to Johnny Gat's ability to jump back really fast. So it just makes him even better at dodging. But it does mess with his movement because you have to move in larger chunks. Kick is always a stable gem. It makes his ground game even better for attacking. And you probably will build more meter than with dive gem since your movement will be better. Overall, I'd say kick or dive will work depending on your style. Start with kick and move on to dive if you feel like you need more height or you just like a more defensive style. All right, so let's get some dive gem Gat here. The first thing I want to show is that interaction with the glue. So I'm going to have Gat pull up some meter for the car, and we're going to have
Yes, from
Markman throw
above.
out some glue, and you can see that interaction where car stops when Johnny stops.
Divekick.
Eat this. Nah.
Oh, down. I just had it too. Alright, I'll be a little bit slower than this. Oh, okay, wait. I'll have to have Markman move so we can actually see it, because if it hits, it doesn't matter.
Divekick.
Sorry about that.
Hurry up.
Okay, I'll wait for the next round. Gonna make sure to jump with Markman.
Round 3. Divekick.
Hey, watch it.
Oh, the glue came away. Of course. Alright, one more time. We'll give this a shot.
Oh yeah. Karate. Nah.
Hurry up.
Control. Precision. Control.
Alright, so the goal is
Round
do
4. Divekick.
Nah.
the car on glue. Let's do that.
Nah. Got it. Precision control. Precision.
Of course, it doesn't work when I can't get. Oh darn! I can't get glue to show up. Trying to jump over Gat that time.
Round 5. Divekick.
Gotta wait 4 seconds for this
Eat this.
concuss to give up. Let's build again.
Karate. Oh yeah. Karate. Nah. Got it. Nah.
Hurry up.
Hey, watch where you driving.
There we go. There's stop the car. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm not gonna try to do it again. The other thing I want to show is
6. Divekick.
the
Discount.
Johnny Gat and his him causing characters to orbit. So let's do a nice high one here. Oh, I guess that was a little.
Shout.
There's a certain angle you can kick where it'll cause the other player to start orbiting. But let's see if I can do that again.
Oh yeah. Karate. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Hurry up.
Anyways, interactions like that where I think there's like a timer on Markman's kick and Hunk's kick where if they're in the air too long, they'll eventually land. But that timer is fairly long, so if you can get them stuck in the middle of the air, they still have an active hitbox. So be careful when you're coming in, but they can be in a very, position where they just can't do anything and they're at the mercy of the black hole. All right. Let's move into some matchup in games. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a couple players. I do have, I think Laitome and Axem both said they'd be able to join. So let me go call them up to see if we can get some matches here. I think we want to start with Dive first, so let's see if either of them want to play Dive. Alright, I think Laitome said he's going to jump in for a dive match, so I'm going to go ahead and look on the lobbies. Be right there. Oop, gotta go to the game. Hopefully online's still working. Gonna be spinning right now. Okay, it's just fine here. Don't see Li's room just yet, so we'll wait a little bit. Go back to the casual screen. You guys can listen to some background music and watch this how to play menu screen kind of flip through. But it'll stop and then it'll It'll show you kind of FAQs on each of the characters. All right, let's go look for that lobby now. All right, I think I do see it, so let's change the game. It looks like Lai is going to jump on to cast as well, so I'm going to go hop into the voice channel. 1 second. Lai, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, sweet. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do some Dive versus Gat. Hopefully you're watching and you kill me as Gat.
Select your character.
I don't deal with fuzzy logic.
I normally like to run the dive gem with Gat, but I'm gonna try doing more kick gem today. I usually like the dive gem because I feel like having that extra fast kickback lends more to my style. But and you can also kind of abuse the curved kick or the curved jump of the gravity hole. Hey, making me want to play dive gem now, but let's play some kick gem first. Maybe I'll switch after.
Select your duds.
Let me set up the scoreboard here. All right, I think that works. Good luck, have fun.
Really, Jeff?
This from above. Round 1. Dive kick.
Oh yeah! Karate! That
You can
hurts!
see right there, the jump of Johnny Gat is not high enough, so gonna have to be careful when I do those neutral jumps.
Round 3. Dive
Oh
kick.
yeah! Karate! Oh yeah! Eat this!
Headshot.
Oh.
Should be pressing kick a little bit early there. I was dodging correctly, just not reacting
Round
to
4.
the hit confirm.
Double kill.
Ooh, ouch! Nice combo there.
Round 5. Dive kick.
Eat this! Functions! Oh yeah!
Oh no!
Kill.
I think I was dead either way there. Now I have a tough spot.
Round 6. Dive kick.
Okay. Oh!
Dive.
Just as my as my concussion ran out. All right, that's one for Laitome.
This from above. Round 1. Dive kick.
Singular man!
There's a quick kick.
Just slow.
Yeah.
A bit too slow and not unreactable.
Dive kick.
Yeah.
Too much randomness!
Dive could have done a fast fall there, so we have to be worried about that later.
Dive kick.
Singular man!
There's that decent hitbox that Johnny Gat has.
Round 4. Dive kick.
Eat this! Iteration limit reached!
So far winning the ground game.
Fraud detection
Oh, a lot of
warning.
dropped inputs here.
Fraud detection warning.
Round 5. Dive kick.
Driving! Oh
Oop.
yeah! Karate! Blasting! Incompatible
Fraud detected. Fraud
All right, able to tie it up. So I'm just kind of focusing on my normals and trying to put trying to get close with Gat because he does have that quick attack. But eventually I'll get enough meter for my specials and hopefully I can try to put Laitome in a bad spot.
Dive kick.
Eat this!
Oh, Deps!
Round 2. Dive kick.
That really is this matchup, just toe tapping me.
Oh, ouch.
Then I get a headshot, and then I have to chain D.
Round 3. Dive kick.
All right, I'll take it.
Perfecto. Round 4. Dive kick.
Karate! Karate! Eat this! Iteration limit exceeded!
Yeah, he doesn't have the same movement as Divekick, but his rushdown is surprisingly fast just because of that outstretched foot.
Too many variables!
Try to kick back.
ラウンド6大キック
Eat this! Karate!
Oh. I thought you were actually going to kick past me, so I was just going to land and punish you, but I guess your foot wasn't that far outstretched.
I couldn't go that far.
Putting Shondi behind him. Oh, that was a bad jump. I should have waited for him to get confused bullets or confused buttons before doing anything. Oh. I was waiting for the ground special.
Eat this! Karate!
Ooh, gotta roll back on that one.
Ooh, I went right into that one.
ラウンド
Guess I'm gonna move back a little bit so I can get Shondi on his side. There you go. Oh, that was a bad timing on my part. I thought I could have punished the landing and was not able to. Good game though. 2
Yeah,
for
good
Laitome.
game. Yep.
See if I can back in the set here.
Yes, from above. ラウンド1大キック
Oh, I should have punished that jump. I was dumb.
Yeah.
ラウンド2
The classic. I see this punish coming a mile away, but I hit it way too early.
Ooh.
Were you trying to go under me there?
No, I just read the fastball. Because that was a kind of a big kick. I didn't think you would make that big of a kick. Shondi! Oh.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
ラウンド4大キック
No, I tried the ground special.
Oh. Probably didn't press it fast enough.
5
Yeah.
大キック
Thanks for telegraphing it. With your words.
大キック
Too few variables!
Nice catch.
Thank you, thank you.
ラウンド7大キック
Did I just fall through it?
You like fastball and you went. I think you went too fast that you hit like the edge of the car.
ラウンド8大キック
So
ジョニーガッ
dive right there tried to kick my landing, but the hole made it slow down, so he didn't actually reach my landing. That was a bit of a bait there. All right,
Yeah, I
tied
just
up.
watched the replay on the stream. That was actually very, very close to hitting you.
Yeah, the speed down from the hole was what happened there.
Yeah,
Yes, from above.
that reverse pull.
Yep.
ラウンド1大キック
Ah,
Okay, I'm impressed.
got crossed up there and I wasn't sure what to do.
Oh yeah!
Ooh, nice. Tommy coming in.
ラウンド3大キック
Iteration limit
Oh, me coming in.
exceeded!
ラウンド4大キック
Too much randomness!
Fast enough to catch it. I think I was thinking, are you gonna fastball here? I was getting ready to press the button earlier.
I was thinking about fast falling, but then I realized, oh shit, it's way too late.
Yeah, so I know that angle is my kick is gonna move forward a little bit because of the
6
hole, so I was able to get you there. That hole's still stopping that speed.
Just a bit short.
Yeah.
ラウンド7大キック
Karate! Hey, watch what you're driving! Eat this!
Johnny Gat
A little bit of a scramble there. I wanted to try to use the combo to cause you to get hit by the car with all the confusion, but it didn't work, but I was able to get the kill.
Yeah.
Good set. Let's
The
run that.
hole's really weird. It messes with the muscle memory a lot because it very subtle. In most cases, it doesn't actually do anything ridiculous, like, you know, for example, making Markman fly. In most cases, that's not what happens. In most cases, it's that it just oh so subtly screws with your kick angle. that you misjudge upon it.
Yeah, yeah. Just understanding that the hole is there and you can't punish things that you normally could goes a long way if you're facing a Gad who knows how to use hole.
I think that last interaction there was a perfect example of that. On both ends for us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the Jive Gem, just kind of, show it off, and I also want to see how it feels too. My
Statistically,
You want me
I
to see on
never
dive?
lose.
yeah, my ground game won't be as good, but I'm hoping that the dodge will be good. And I think Axem's going to join us as well, so he'll be hopping into the next set. I don't know what matchup we'll do, though, so we'll see. Got to focus on this one first, though. 0-0. Hey, Afro. Nice of you to stop by and say hi. We are having fun right now. Afro in the chat just saying hello. Can't stay, though. I got the comparable jump now. Ooh, little fake jump there. Made me scared.
Wanted to psych you out, but you didn't fall for a single one. Drag forward.
I'm just trying to build meter since you weren't going to come forward into it.
Wait, what?
The buttons probably messed you up because of Shandi.
No, that was a full jump. I wasn't under Kickfactor. There.
That's me throwing out the card at the last end of my Kickfactor. Hopefully Dive committed to something. He did.
That was weird. I think the hole ate my jump.
Oh, really?
Kickfactor jump. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was, I'm pretty sure I did a dive there.
We'll probably have to...
I just didn't go anywhere.
Maybe you pressed kick right as you landed? I don't know.
No, I didn't touch kick at all.
We'll have to check the replay later.
Yeah, I basically did a short hop in Kickfactor. I don't think it was kickback, because if it was kickback I would have gotten out of the hole.
Oh, nice. There you go. He kind of got in the middle of the hole. I used the curved top jump to try to catch him.
I'm not trying to ground special, but it's not coming out.
Oh my god. That kickback. I was able to survive that kickback speed, or that Kickfactor speed.
Try to get in your dead zone.
Almost. I thought it was gonna pass as well.
Yeah, I think if I inched forward just a tiny bit more, I would have gotten it.
Johnny Gat wins.
As you can see, if I'm winning the interactions at the small feet level, I'm doing well as Gat.
Well, Gat tends to just win footsies.
Yeah, he does have a good footsies game.
Iteration limit exceeded!
Round 2, dive kick.
Multiply! It'll wash out!
Round 3, dive kick.
Oh, not far enough that time.
Round 4, dive kick.
Gotta win those toe taps.
I don't think I can win those toe taps in those situations.
Iteration limit exceeded!
Round 6, dive kick.
Ooh,
Ooh.
nice catch. I
Sometimes
know you were trying to force me to jump, but at that point my angle was basically set.
Yeah. Oh. Hoping that would be a trade, but I think you got in a little later.
Round 8.
much later.
Oh.
Okay, I'm impressed.
Round 9. Divekick. Hands up.
Yeah, sometimes you get
That's
that.
interesting. I couldn't actually pick back past the hole.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of the hole or slightly in front, it really messes with like what you expect to happen. So you can get the
I
person to
didn't
like.
think it did that. I thought it worked differently from that. That's actually the first time I've seen that, which shows you how much this matchup happens.
Yes, yes. All right, so I think Axem is gonna jump in for the next match. I don't know if he's gonna jump into voice, but we'll look for Axem. You can stay on the call if you want to comment on the sets that we see. Let me share my screen real quick though. Actually, let me go look for his room and I'll share my screen. I see your lobby, but let me see if Axem is there. One second. Make sure this room. Oh, this room is not. Let me edit the room so it can fit more people. Okay, has room now in case he does want to join the voice call. Not required, but he may. All right, let's go look again. All right, I see Axem's now. We'll see what Axem picks. We'll leave it up to him.
Okay, I'm on.
Oh, hey, Axem. Go ahead and pick whatever matchup you want. If you want a random or if you want to pick a certain player. I'll try to tuck my way through playing Gat against them.
Sure, I'll just go random. That's fine.
Yeah, sounds good.
Select your character.
I'm so godlike.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Nice high flyer. This is gonna be tough.
If you want to run with the Saints, you gotta be canonized.
And this-
Kicker screen.
Select your
Oh yeah,
gems.
sorry about that. Let me. In this particular matchup, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Johnny Gat. Or for Johnny Gat, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the kick gem. There's no point in trying to get over. To get over N. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure to be able to limit Mr. N's
Select your
movement
guns.
and meter build by trying to control the ground game.
I do think Mr. N has to be pretty careful not to jump in too deep in this matchup because of how far Gat's foot juts out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's also the elephant in the room that is N's girth.
1. Divekick.
That makes it virtually impossible for him to safely build meter.
No.
I think I had that one. I was a little too close and a little low on that reaction. Oh,
Lucky shot.
I'm still feeling good with these interactions. I'm just making the wrong decisions.
Just, yeah.
Hi.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Round 4. Divekick.
Hi. Hi. Nice Emma
Oh, I said exited a little bit earlier there.
Round 5. Divekick.
Johnny. Take that. Hi.
Oh, I thought I had enough for 2. Just barely not.
This is going to be kind of interesting now. You're going to have impossible. Some possible like movement with the confusion. So
Round 7. Divekick.
Oh yeah. Hi. Take that.
Oh.
Hi.
okay, hole's probably bad here. It's giving Mr. N kind of forward movement. I don't want that at all. Let's stick with Kickfactor.
No, that's broken.
I don't think N's one of those characters who's very much affected by the hole. He's a bit too fast.
Well, if he uses it right, he kind of gets that forward jump, and I don't want to give him that. If he's not using it right, then I'm like, I guess I could try to put it a little bit higher. But yeah, you are right. He's a little bit fast, so I don't know how it'll work. Yeah, maybe I will try it anyway. I'm up 1. Gonna go ahead and hit rematch.
I mean, he's still obviously affected by the hole, but he's in the air for a lot less time than, say, dive. And that also means that there's a lot less time for the hole to actually affect him. And then there's also the fact that N can't do his normal rapid KK meter build against Gat because Gat just moves in, and if N doesn't stop fast enough, he just gets hit.
Nice bait, Axem. I should have jumped higher for that punish.
I was probably a bit low, yeah.
No, that's broken.
What's cool is as Johnny Gat, I feel a little bit better about delaying my kickback because it's so fast.
Yeah, you can jump back in very easily.
Oh, did I get a hit? Oh, no.
Got just inside.
Yeah. Oh, that was a bad jump. I should not be doing neutral jumps, just only if I'm going for an attack.
Actually, can N even like punish a kickback from Gat?
He can, just he has to be he has to have the height, right?
Yeah. And our boy's out of there.
Ah, those buttons.
Yeah, those buttons. You have no meter and confusion coming, so see what you can do. Oh man, that was a bad jump on my end.
Ah.
You didn't punish it though, yeah. How many Gats have you played, Axem?
Like in a tournament setting? There have been a couple. This is going back like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
and usually it's with, like with Baz, so he doesn't really have to worry about a lot of the shenanigans with the specials that like lower jumping characters might.
Mhm.
But it's Gat's one of those characters like it's easier if you know how to play around the black hole stuff, but it's a little different for every single character.
Yeah, yeah.
So once you have all the knowledge, it's not too bad, but it's easy to forget pieces of it.
Fair enough, fair enough.
If you haven't seen the match in a while.
Yes, from above. Round one.
Oh, a little. Thought I was gonna get a little bit further away, but pressed it a little bit too early.
I'm kind of wondering whether kick jam would be good.
Yeah, to catch those kickbacks.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure you need the height, so.
Round three.
Ooh, too far.
Yeah.
Round four.
No, that's broken.
I was betting on the kick or the buttons being messed up that you can't kick me there.
Oh, I thought I could get like I could skip back in time, but yeah.
Round six.
Karate. Take that. Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a bad move in.
It'll wash out.
Thought you were making a small movement trying to punish it. You just jumped straight up.
You have to make those guesses occasionally.
Yeah, I didn't think you were gonna do that because you had no meter for a float, so I could punish it if I needed to. Well played.
Oh, nothing ventured, nothing gained, you know.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Round nine.
All right, looks like I'm not getting quite at the right height, so I have to delay my kick just a little bit.
I guess yeah, it's a question of whether you inch in or whether you anticipate I'm trying to punish that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, I think I'm putting myself in the right positions, but I don't know the spacing that well, so like even in those interactions, I'm feeling okay. So
Yeah.
slight adjustments just needed. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good just because I know Johnny Gat can stifle the meter build pretty well, and that's really something you want to do against Mr. N. You don't want to give him. You don't want to give him. Yeah.
Where'd the chair go?
Oh, that kickback is just so gross.
It's great. It's great at escaping. It really is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you just go in, and then if you see the high jump, you just
Ooh.
you're out,
You're out.
and in a perfect position to punish just about anything N does.
Oh, aw. I think I'm playing as if I have kick jam and like screwing up my own timings.
6 dive kick.
Oh,
Ooh,
I should have waited.
snare up.
Don't go for the bait. Don't go for the bait.
Down 7 dive kick.
Johnny. Hi. Eat this. No way.
Johnny Gat wins.
I don't think I
It's so
wanted to
easy
do hold
launch the
there.
trap, you can almost make it, but then you get pulled back.
Let's run that again, but I want you to pick the kick gem this time because I think that'll have better results.
Yeah, better meter building at the least.
Yeah.
Select your character.
This is gonna be so.
Anything you want to add to the commentary here, or maybe help out Mr. N or Gat? Laitome?
I really don't know because the thing is, N is really bad at footsies. He's probably the worst character in the game at footsies, which is saying a
I hope
lot
you can keep
considering
up with me,
Fencer exists.
Select your jewels.
But N's main strength is his height and his mobility. Issue is Gat is very good at footsies, so Gat can kind of just go in and N really just has to respect it, or risk just getting hit on the blubber.
I think N can
then-
have decent footsies with the kick gem. It's just you need
Yeah.
very good reactions and you need to know your spacing really well. But I think Mr. N with the kick gem just has a lot of moves. Blabuer says Fencer is way worse. All right.
Who knows? Maybe Kick Gem will change this up.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe let Axem finally catch up to that
From above.
Kick back.
long kickback.
Round 1 dive kick.
Ooh.
Where'd the chair go?
Not yet. Not yet though.
Round 2 dive kick.
Dollar bills,
I'm trying to make bigger jumps at the beginning because I feel like I need to catch up.
Ganked.
Still dodging. Still good so far.
4 dive
Now watch out for the meter though. How's the meter now?
Hi. Take that.
Ooh.
The landing knee, yeah.
If you're
Nice.
catching those landing, there's kickbacks now.
Johnny.
that was a really bad jump. I'm like, oh, I have this.
Round
Gotta take advantage of that, yeah.
6
Yeah.
dive kick.
Okay.
Yep.
I made a bad jump. Tried to get out of it with a special.
7
Not work.
dive kick.
Hi.
Oh.
Wash out.
I saw it. I just a little slow on reaction.
Round
Yep.
8 dive kick.
Oh yeah. Hi.
Ooh, yeah, you are catching that landing frame now.
If that was this were dive gem, then that wouldn't be happening.
Hi. Hi. Take that.
Oh,
Mr. A
nice, nice.
wins.
Still not feeling too bad. I'm making mistakes, but I can see Gat's potential.
Yeah.
It can be a high-low
The
thing.
kickback isn't as free get out of jail anymore, though.
Yes, yes.
From above. Round 1 dive kick.
Blabuer says I definitely like the more forward end play better.
Round 2
Yeah, Axem being a bit more aggressive here.
Oh yeah. Take that. Nice Emma.
Round 3 dive kick.
Take that. Hi.
Ooh. I need to delay a little bit longer. I want to try to get back to the ground and punish him, but
4 dive
it's not the right angle to do
Get
so.
caught up by these floats.
There you go. That's the angle to do so.
Yep.
Round 5 dive kick.
Karate.
In the shot.
Got no meter. I can punish
see,
that now.
Okay, listen, always pay attention to your meter when you're playing N. Yeah.
6 dive kick.
Karate. Oh yeah. Take that.
In the shot.
Thought I can catch him with a quick kick, but
Almost, yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
almost did. We got the zoom in. Just
7 dive
not to
kick.
confirm.
Take that.
I think you actually could have punished
Karate.
earlier.
Take that. Take that. Take that.
oh, the elbow.
Elbow.
I know that elbow is such a weakness. It's like an Achilles
Yeah.
elbow.
Achilles. All right, didn't
too
fall for
far.
the bait that time.
Round 9. Divekick.
Johnny.
Oh. I was kind of hoping you would get eaten and I would just jump. I would just kick you as you landed.
I was worried, yeah.
All right, that's 2 for Axem. Let's see if I can turn this around. I'm not feeling bad about the matchup because those were all close games, and I could have made some slight changes to win. So let's see if I can do that now.
Yes, from above.
I think that footsie power is still there, yeah.
Round 1. Divekick.
Where'd the chair go?
Round 2. Divekick.
Ooh, nice.
Respect.
Punishing my forward play.
Round 3. Divekick.
Oh,
Dollar bills, yo.
gotta have that spacing a bit
Round
better.
4. Divekick.
Feeling out that center stage.
5.
Yep.
Divekick.
My loaned money.
Round 6. Divekick.
Johnny. Karate.
Oh, waited a little too late.
I actually got the button presses that time.
Round 7.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for you to get hit by a button press and you not do anything. Ooh.
Johnny
Should have exited early, I guess.
wins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, from above. Round 1. Divekick.
Game.
And
You
little
exited a bit
taps.
late there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Round 2. Divekick.
Oh no.
That hurt.
That felt like he read my movement there.
Round
I was sometimes not expecting it. Of course, sometimes I'm expecting it doesn't come, so... Oh.
Money.
Perfecto. Round 4. Divekick.
Oh yeah.
Where'd the chair go?
Round 5. Divekick.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, not quick enough there. Yeah, it definitely looks like this is looking like Kick Gem's better for Mr. N here.
6.
I think so.
Way better.
Oh, didn't take it. Very good.
Money.
Round 7. Divekick.
Eat this. Karate.
Oh, I went for that one.
You have
Nice,
to jump,
nice.
thankfully.
Round 8. Divekick.
Johnny. Oh yeah.
Oh!
Just a few presses there, but we have that double jump in.
Round 9. Divekick.
Oh, darn.
Mister.
I was looking
Oh,
to chase
yeah,
you back, but you went up and I wasn't sure what to do. And then I just went underneath you. I'm like, that's a bad position.
I almost kicked over again, too. I have a bad habit of that, but I got that Marnied out just in time.
Yeah, that was pretty good though. Kind of showed, the power of the kickback, trying to counterplay against it. Yeah, overall good.
Yeah, Force is kind of a high-low game for Ren, I think. You have to decide if they're going to try to punish that Gat coming in, or whether you have to go high and try to bait, or just kind of run away for a bit. It can be a little tricky.
Let's see. Let's have Laitome jump in.
Yeah, sure.
I'll what character would be good, Laitome? You still there, Laitome?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm thinking right now.
If not, you can just go Kenny and we can see all the different kind of interactions.
You see all the matchups.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think an interesting matchup would be Kung versus Gat.
Yeah, so typically I would say that in that matchup I see Kung being favored, and that's because her kickback. Hold on, let me draw a little bit. You guys won't be able to see this, but I'm gonna draw it for the crowd here. Her kickback moves at this long angle, and Gat's like long floaty kickback can be punished by Kong's angle, and so when you're trying to win Footsie's game against one of the best Footsies around, it's kind of tough. I'd say Kong has a decent advantage just because his kickback can be a liability if he makes too many long kickbacks, and that's the main thing that I think that Kong should be looking out for. If she can't hit the close kicks, then checking out for when Gat does a long kickback is the next best bet. All right, let me go back into the game.
Yeah, some other matchups I wanted to mention were I was gonna bring up were Shoals and Baz. Except I don't want to go Shoals because I am really bad at reset.
God, it feels good to be out of that vat.
How's your Shoals, Axem?
Slowly derusting. I could probably give it a try, but no guarantees.
I mean, I know Shoals' movement well enough. I'm just horrible with reset. I can't do them for the life of me.
All right. So what I'm going to be looking for here is Gat is trying to catch that foot that's outstretched with Kong, and with Johnny Gat's outstretched foot. I was very deep into the foot, but I mean, I'll take that too.
That was more thigh than foot.
Oh, it's getting a little bit dicey on the connection, but hopefully it speeds up. You can see there with the hole being causing Kong to just float. That can't happen if I can lay out a tall hole. It's gonna be hard for Kong to move. All right, gotta throw.
The car's really good in this matchup.
It's not that okay. So I think of it as a double-edged sword, because if Kong gets on top of the car, she can do a very high kick that covers a lot of stuff, because it makes her jump higher than normal.
And he's animation locked, right, until he lands?
Yes, and so he can't get caught. If you see me call the car, I can get caught as well. But if you're just doing kicks, it's bad because you're kind of stuck in that animation for a while.
You can't outfootsie the car, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me set up the score, and then I'll hit rematch.
This from above. Round 1.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for, basically, as Johnny Gat.
Round.
Play with that close motion. It's like playing with fire against Kong, but...
Yeah, it's basically, am I doing DK or am I doing KK?
Yep. Yeah.
Almost got you there.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's really scary if you get on top of the car, so I just backed off. Ooh.
Respect.
Nice punish.
Thank you.
Round 5.
Oh, there's the chase back. Yeah. Nice.
Kickfactor chase.
Yeah.
Round 6.
Alright, I'll take it.
For sure.
Round 7.
Oh.
That's so scary.
I didn't kick because I thought you were gonna do your portal, because I could have kicked you there. I had the actual punish, but I was waiting for the portal, and then I'm like, oh crap, it didn't come out. I was playing on the second level when you were just like, whatever, I'm just gonna kick you.
Let's push it down. Yep.
This from above. Round 1.
Ooh.
Ooh. Nice catch.
That's what I'm looking for.
Round 2.
There you go. Oh!
KO.
I'm gonna say that those are good because Johnny Gat will get those trades most of the time.
Headshot.
Alright. Concussion approach.
Bro, can I even jump over the car when I'm concussed?
Nope, not fast enough.
Karate. Karate.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, you can
I had
jump
no
over the
idea what I
car.
was doing. I was just spamming K.
I believe you can jump over the car. You're just spamming K and you're jumping up sometimes.
Yeah.
If you jump up, pause, then K. Yeah.
Round 6. Dive kick.
Ooh. Too slow on the punish.
Round 7. Dive kick.
Ooh, too close, too close.
The shin.
Round 8. Dive kick.
Karate.
Oh, a little early.
Round 9. Dive kick.
Karate.
Sweet.
Johnny Gat wins.
Yeah,
I was
so
thinking, I'll be aggressive this round, and nope, you just called me out on it.
yeah, so as Gat, you kind of have to stay in front of Kong, and it's gonna suck because you are gonna get caught with the quick kicks, but your kickback gives you a little bit more leeway than other characters get a little bit closer. But you want to try to stay close to try to get the punish the movement of Kong. If you ever do a full kickback, it's gonna be bad because you give up all that space, and hopefully you can mix up your KKs and DKs to basically put Kong into a bad rhythm and you can catch your foot. But other than that, it's pretty tough in this matchup. So
This from above. Round 1. Dive kick.
Catch.
could have kicked me there, yeah.
Yeah.
Round 2. Dive kick.
Karate.
Psychologically, on the other side of Johnny Gat is the other player always has to worry about, am I kicking into a kickback here? Because if you are, you're dead, and so it does cause them to hesitate a little bit. And hopefully you can use that time, that hesitation, to cut rush in. Oh, I read it, just did not punish it correctly.
Round 6. Dive kick.
Oh, I tried the portal. The stall out.
I think you might have been too low there.
Round 7. Dive kick.
Dang it. Hoping I can get you on the high angle.
Yeah, so whenever you do get Kong stuck like that, just be patient. She's gonna fall down at some point, and get ready to punish it. If you're really good at your timing, you can hit
I was actually hoping to
headshots.
hit you with the arc.
Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. Like, setting it up is tough, and then also you could still get hit by this like really horizontal kick. So be careful.
She had a Kickfactor, so you have to watch out for that particle accelerator effect, where it just like magnetizes right into you.
Yeah.
Axem, you said you had a decent Shoals. So we can do the Shoals matchup.
Oh, hopefully, yeah, we'll find out.
Okay, cool. Axem, fix those scores here. 0, 0, safe. All right. Blabur, if you do have any requests for a matchup do you want to see, go ahead and put it in the chat.
To face foot dive is to face one's end.
All
If
right.
you want to run with the Saints, you gotta be canonized.
Select your gems.
I think
So
I'm
I-
still safe with Kitchen here.
I believe I need a dive gem.
I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. I feel like I need dive gem, but then I feel like it isn't high enough anyway.
Yeah.
It can be tough.
Select
I don't think
your
going under is
guns.
going to help me either because of my elbow, so just stick with dive gem.
I'll
true.
again.
I'll switch to kick gem if I feel like it's going to be any more helpful, but we'll see what I can do with dive gem for now.
This from above. Round 1. Dive kick.
Okay, too close. It's my best shot. You had no meter. Now I got to worry about mix-ups.
But yeah, always that first round.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for that.
Nobody plays Gat.
Three.
Fair enough.
Beat this.
Oh, so we can toe tap there. Okay.
Round 4.
It's a bit of a read and it's still a little bit risky.
Failure is beneath Shoals.
That I wouldn't have got if I had Kick Jam, for sure.
Round
Yeah.
5. Divekick.
Karate.
You're too close in.
Don't know if that is helping me at all.
Round 6. Divekick.
Nope. Okay.
Almost messed that up.
So wondering if that card would do anything. Nope, it's not doing anything. All right, so looks like we're playing for Kickfactor here.
Whoop.
Ooh,
Really wish that Johnny Gat could kick out of that, because that
Round
that would have helped a
in that
lot.
situation.
Yeah, for sure. Oh no. Yeah, that was just a bad attack on my end. Not feeling good though. Not feeling good. Let's see if I can fix up my my under movement. Did get hit by a couple kickbacks I shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
But unlike the other one, I'm not feeling good about my options.
Definitely a harder matchup, I think.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, not high, not quick enough to jump past that. Noted. Noted.
Round 2. Divekick.
Oh, maybe kickback would have been better there.
Round 3. Divekick.
Yeah, okay.
Headshot.
Oh, nope, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, I'm gambling on your inch forward kicks.
4. Divekick.
Oh, I'll definitely take
Earlier,
that.
Axem just let that kick rip. It would have been Thanos getting hit instead.
Headshot.
Oh, yep, that's also.
The YOLO.
Round 6. Divekick.
Yeah, I'm not chasing that.
You can chase it. Oh, nice.
Johnny Gat.
That's the cancel.
wins.
Yeah, so I figured this is a good time to call the car because you'll be flying away and towards the car. Niche use for car.
The reverse cross-off.
Yeah, they're like the car from behind gets the kill, right? That's what I was going for, and it worked.
Round 1. Divekick.
Oh, almost got the foot there. Ooh, I should have had that. I committed too early. I thought you were gonna fall.
Round 2. Divekick.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that did pull me a little bit.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Down.
it still affects you. It just doesn't do that well. Like it doesn't help me that much. Ooh. Maybe jumping up would have been better in that scenario.
Round 4. Divekick.
Eat this. Oh yeah. Eat it. Johnny.
Oh.
That hurt.
Yeah, I was in that corner mix-up. Don't know what to do. Jump up or.
Cross under, yeah, that's hard.
I mean, I guess that's like the one spot Shoals wants you to be is in the corner. If you can just horizontal move in.
Karate.
Headshot.
Oh, yep, there you go.
Detection averted.
Round 6. Divekick.
Karate. Karate.
And then the eternal
Oh.
issue that Shoals and Concuss jumps as high as Cat.
Oh yeah.
Using those the win advantage there for a yellow. It's scary.
7. Divekick.
Eat this. Oh yeah. Foot sandwich. Johnny. Eat this.
Headshot.
Ooh. I was hoping I was safe there and you would fall down. I would just jump up and kick you.
That was almost panic mode.
Axem got hit by a switch up there.
Yeah. That was the plan, right? You gotta sometimes gamble into your dubstep.
Yes. From above. Round 1. Divekick.
Failure is beneath Shoals.
Just like any time you're playing Shoals, you gotta look for when they have no meter, because that's the best time to get the kill.
Okay.
Oh!
Round 3, Divekick.
Oh, yes.
That's a friend to the shield.
Divekick.
Reverse cross-up strikes again.
Yep. Oh, no.
No.
That was not good.
Round 5, Divekick.
Sandwich. Karate.
Aw.
Double
Ooh,
kill.
the
The
turnaround.
turnaround at least. Okay.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if I noticed if I mentioned that, so that's a good thing to show.
Divekick.
Gat does have a little bit of
Penalty kill.
outstretched head, so we'll turn around on Shoals.
Round 7.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised there haven't been more just turnarounds this game.
Karate. Karate.
All right, still got a chance. Still got a chance.
Round 8.
Dancing around that minimum height of Shoals.
Oh, I thought I kicked back.
Yeah, it's still pretty fast even with a dive jam.
9, Divekick.
Hey, watch it.
Trying to. Oh no!
Oh, that usually doesn't happen.
Yeah, I went a little early. I just knew it right away. I'm like, okay, this is too early for the read. Even for the read, it was too early. I was trying to hit you with the with the car there, trying to get cheeky. But well, good set, well played.
Yep.
Trying to think of the next matchup that we might want to see. Laitome, do you have any ideas?
Axem's a better Baz than I am. That's the next matchup I would suggest for Axem and you. As for me, I don't know.
We'll jump into a Baz one. Think of one really quick, because this will probably be fast.
Yeah, if I lose this set, I'll be spending the next few days taking remedial Baz classes. So.
Ooh, I want you to go to the Baz classes, so we'll see what I can do. Okay, let me think about it a little bit. So Johnny definitely doesn't have the height. I don't know
A
if
little beast to disturb.
Select your bring.
I want to use kick to chase down, but I will lose out on the height.
It's a little bit like the Shoals decision.
Yeah.
I think in most cases, Dive Gem is better against Baz, since kick speed doesn't really matter too much against Baz.
Select
It's
your
really hard. It's
guns.
harder to chase Baz for sure because the momentum swings can he can get out of the dodge faster than Shoals can. So maybe just rely on the jump height, but we'll see.
Like that has a good outstretched kick, but it's also kind of low relative to
Yeah.
how much air superiority Baz has. So it'd be tricky to get above him, even if he swings like a mid height.
Round 1, Divekick.
Okay, I'm in.
Wonder if I should try to play it with kick gem and try to just stay under and force you to fall too.
Divekick.
We could try both.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll try to run this a little bit with the dive gem, see how I feel, and then I'll switch.
Round 3, Divekick.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, no headshot, so...
No headshot. We're good.
Round 4, Divekick.
There you go.
I see stars. Round 5, Divekick. Oh yeah. That was quite a
Ah, the prep frame.
The prep game.
Round 6, Divekick.
Oh yeah, good
All
waiting.
right, this feels good.
That was a bit greedy of me.
Round 7, Divekick.
Ooh, too close. It's getting greedy for that headshot.
8, Divekick.
Ooh, nice.
The Bazit wins.
That's the great thing about that special, is that it's pretty good and it uses both buttons, so if you're staring down Kickfactor, it's not a bad out.
Yeah. Let me switch to kick gem because I think the going under is working. I just need to get there faster.
Select your
Sure.
character.
God, it feels good to be out of that bag.
I don't know how much of like threat I'm gonna lose from not having the height, but we'll see.
Select your duds.
I kind of make this the same as like Kung, where you can't really get up there, but hopefully you can force mistakes when you're in the cross-up zone, I guess you could say.
Right, the spacing gets a little tricky.
Round one. Dive kick.
Ah.
Boss!
And so, right, do you wait or do you kick back? It can be.
All right, I'll take it.
Oh, the lean forward saving you there.
Yeah.
The lightning hitbox can be a little weird sometimes. Oops.
Oh no, you missed the headshot. With two. I don't think Baz really cares about the hole.
It was more to float.
Usually not.
It was more to float.
But that was good for a delay for
Yeah.
line play, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Perfecto. Round 5. Dive kick.
Little sloppy there.
Oh. Nope. I am losing something with the dive gem. There's a certain threat that I can jump over you when you're on the low one, and I don't have that anymore.
Right.
So I might want to switch back to the dive jam now.
Oh, right, that's... I was expecting a fling there, and yeah, that just...
Did not
pauses you in
fling.
there. Yep.
Yep. Funnily enough, despite how lopsided this matchup is, it's probably one of the few where Gat's Kickfactor has
Decent,
an
yeah.
extreme impact. Oh yeah, an extreme impact on the game, like a consistent impact on the game, more accurately.
You do have to get used to it as Baz, yeah. There are so many long strings of complex inputs. Just one can be the difference between like flinging yourself across the screen and just like stopping dead with a second kick.
If you want to run with the Saints, you gotta be cannon.
Well, Baz presses a lot of buttons, and Kickfactor is always going to do well against anybody who has to press a lot of buttons.
Yep.
Yeah.
That does make me contemplate meter gem, but I still think the dive gem gives me a little bit more threat on certain positions where I can threaten a low kick, especially in concussed. So I realized when I had the kick gem, I was getting under faster, but the jump up threat was a lot less.
Round 1. Dive kick.
Nice.
Round 2. Dive kick.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, did I hit you? No. I was like, did I get like the bottom of your knee?
Round 3. Dive kick.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you didn't do a fling there because of the switch up, I believe.
4. Dive kick.
Oh, right, you gotta... During
get
the startup.
Yeah.
Round 5. Dive kick.
Ooh. I should have just stayed still.
Stay still, let the dubstep, the music work.
Nice.
Respect.
Let the music work. Make them dance! Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Just using it for the delay. It's working though.
Yeah, although that delay almost got that helplessness after hole almost got you though.
Ooh. Alright, he's gonna have one lightning try to get me, then I'm gonna have Yes!
Johnny Gat wins.
Put one on the board, I'm happy.
Yep, for sure.
It's always hard to put any matchup at a 10-0 because there's so many mistakes that you can make in Divekick.
For sure, yeah.
From above.
I don't think it's that lopsided, but it is, I think, Baz's strongest matchup.
1. Dive kick.
stronger than Kung?
Well,
I would
yeah.
say so.
I don't know. I still think. I feel like Gat has more options than Kung here.
Gat has height Kung doesn't have.
Yeah,
On the other hand, Gat's also bigger than Kung.
that's true.
Oh yeah. Eat this.
My life is static. Round 4.
Eat this. Johnny.
Aw.
Get a god loose.
Yeah, this is good.
Round 5.
Good scenario. If you have no meter for, you gotta worry about stuff like this.
Eat this.
Ooh, nice escape.
Round 6.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Respect.
the early one.
Right, it's when we don't have to worry about accidentally using lightning.
Oh, the wrong jump.
Okay.
Oh well, not bad, not bad.
Wins.
Yeah. Thanos actually took a game in a very lopsided matchup.
Anytime you can do that, it's small victories, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's really just looking for. Gat's gonna have to play some high risk, and it's just trying to find that line. And I always try to feel like there isn't a spot where you're just completely helpless. There has to be an opening where you can force things, and just trying to force it. Like, okay, I'm gonna play in a risky spot where a jumping could lead to a headshot, but it's also tight for you to make, like, if you make a mistake, I can try to get you there as well.
Yeah, there are cases where you just have to guess correctly,
Mhm.
or just anticipate do you kick back or do you stand still or something like that, and putting yourself in that position where you have to guess is risky, but if you guess right, then that could be a headshot for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right. Did you have a matchup, Laitome?
I'm just playing Kenny.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good too. All
I
right.
considered a kick to see who has better footsies, but
Derek, do you kill?
I don't like playing kick.
Oh. Let me set up the score here. Laitome 0-0.
You heard the cocky SOB. Let's roll.
Okay, now I gotta think about what gem here.
Kick gem is better here because you want to take advantage of Kenny's wide stance.
Yeah, and I also want to pressure your meter build, so I want to move forward. You're right.
Derek, to your duds.
Gonna want that dive gem when you have certain stances, but I think overall, don't give you meter is still a good game plan.
Yes, from above. Round 1.
A lot of downworld.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah, I was like, it's been raining a lot.
Round 2.
Oh yeah.
Headshot.
Ooh.
Just putting faith into that kickback. I can dodge this if I get close.
And he looks so angry getting hit shot there.
Oh,
Want to get across.
Buttons.
Wore off right when I wanted to do the second kick.
4.
oh, S kill. It's actually a pretty good.
Oh, I had
Oh,
you.
too fast.
I had you again.
It's actually a matchup I was really happy about. Oh, redacted. We're okay. Ooh, nice fake.
And now that I have bullet,
Yeah.
I am much scarier.
6.
Alright, I'll take it. Didn't actually turn around there, so that's good. Oh,
But now I have to win on neutral alone here.
Round 8.
No S kill.
ooh, nice.
Kenny wins.
I should probably give stream more respect. I was chasing way too hard into that. Well played.
Yeah. And unlike other stances, I can actually chase your kickback.
with the drill.
Yeah.
This from above.
Not too bad. I still feel decent in that.
Round 1. Dive kick.
Cat's pressure is hell of carry though.
Ooh, that was dive.
Yeah.
Yes, I should have
That's
caught
probably
it
one
from
of
the
the few
first jump.
matches where you want the dive jab.
Yeah.
Almost had you.
So close.
Round 3. Dive kick.
Oh, S-kill. How are you doing? Oh,
Okay,
okay. I gotta not get too aggressive against S-kill.
Round
It's getting me killed.
dive kick.
Ooh, just enough to lay.
Round
Way to confirm what I'm seeing.
dive
Then you
kick.
get right in.
Nice free reactions.
Oh,
Round 6. Dive kick.
Oh god damn it, not again.
Oh,
Kenny.
I was waiting for the bullet and you just let the kick go. Nice. Alright, I'm dying to too many S-kills here. My goal is to not die to S-kill. That's my only goal
It's
right
funny
now.
because I don't think that's normally a good matchup.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty in Cat's favor.
From above.
Overconfidence is the insidious killer.
Round 1. Dive kick.
Oh my god, that was so fast.
Round 2. Dive kick. Double kick.
Oh, you had me.
No.
wash out.
Round 3. Dive kick.
I'm not paying for that.
No headshot, I'm happy. Get out of that vortex.
Now I have meter.
Round
Yeah, you do.
4. Dive kick.
Oh fuck!
A little too low.
Round
I tried to cancel.
5.
Yeah.
Dive kick.
Eat this. Karate.
Ooh, give me the headshot, please.
Round 6. Dive kick.
Oh yeah.
Hurry up.
Karate.
Holy shit, my gravity's
Oh.
weird. My
Yeah,
gravity was weird.
yeah. For some reason, Kenny in stream stance will get affected by gravity a little bit more.
But like that was after the whole ended too.
Yeah, after the whole ended. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, damn. Nice, nice.
That was just like a style pause.
Yeah, I shouldn't be jumping in that scenario. I thought you were gonna fall. I'm like, wait a minute, he still has meter.
I have bullet even if I fall.
Yeah, I was all like waiting for you to fall. I'm like, that he's not coming down.
Yeah.
Nice clean
If
sweep
I'm
there.
coming down, it's gonna be covered.
Trying to think of another matchup that we want to kind of close out on.
Kick.
Did you want to do kick, or did you? If you're happy with doing kick, we
I'm
can close
thinking
out on.
kick because I remember like kick in vanilla is like the king of foot thief.
Select your character.
Or maybe I play Gat and you play someone else. But you know, actually,
Actually, yeah, this is a good one to end on here. We are in 740, but you know, 10 minutes out, so we can do this last match.
You ready for this?
Select your gems.
Axem, where do you want to put the bet on here?
For these two, let me think about that.
I've got
It's like the two joke characters.
Select
It's
your
like
dice.
you know, like that. What was that video? It was Hercule versus Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Death Battle or something?
oh
I'm not sure.
yeah, Hercule versus Dan.
All right, put in your quarter before, or place your bet before.
I'll
Before we
say
start.
Jefailey.
All right.
You have a lot of faith.
Pressure on you now, Laitome.
No pressure.
I
lad.
know.
No pressure.
Axem has an imaginary corner on me.
Karate. That one doesn't count. Round 2. Dive kick. It's okay, I still make money.
That reach.
Round 3. Dive kick.
Karate. Karate. Oh yeah.
Disqualified.
I think if I held that, I would have gotten you.
Round 4.
Maybe.
Dive kick.
Eat this.
This looks familiar.
I need to not cancel. I need to remember that disqualified is actually like super floaty.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm too used to like canny bullet cancels.
Dive! Dive!
Karate. Eat this. Eat this. Okay.
I don't know if you're intentionally not using the boom kick there. I imagine you are.
Round 6.
That last one was not intentional, but these are going to be intentional whether I like it or not.
Johnny Gat wins.
I thought he was carrying his swords the entire time, or daggers, and just kind of flings them down at the end. It's one thing to have your hands in your pockets, like diving kick, but like he brings knives to the fight, and
I mean, if
Just
the
for show.
even if the knives do 100 damage of hit points, kicks do 1 billion damage. So
Yeah, we each have like 10,000 HP if I recall correctly.
kicks eat everything.
yeah, yeah. Why use knives when your kick does 1 billion damage?
Round 2. Dive kick.
Oh, too close.
That's what I'm looking for.
One mistake and headshot.
Round 3. Dive kick.
Oh no, the Vortex.
Round 4. Dive kick.
Let's see what happens here. Here comes the kickback. Alright, let's take it.
Oh, only the
No
elbow.
headshot, no
only
headshot.
the elbow.
Round
Achilles elbow ruptured.
kick.
Oh.
That has to hurt.
Round 6. Dive kick.
Oh, okay.
Jefailey wins.
Note to self. Do not let him get Kickfactor. Alright, ties it up. It's a match now.
Kickfactor just lets me just chase your kickbacks.
Yeah.
Like, it turns your kickbacks like one of the safest options Gat has into
Oh,
a death
no.
sentence.
Got a little aggressive there.
2. Dive kick. Double kill.
Lucky shot.
Relying on the
Accent
speed
off
of my
your nose.
kickbacks.
Round 3. Dive kick.
Karate.
Oh,
Kill.
the
Oh, the
duck.
landing.
The landing.
The landing.
Round 4. Dive kick.
Nice low kick.
Oh, good blow.
Yeah, nice low kick.
Fraud detection
All right.
warning. Fraud detection warning.
Round 5. Dive kick.
Eat this. Karate. Karate. Oh yeah. Eat this. Eat this. Karate.
Ooh, the chin.
Oh, and this is where things go bad.
Round 6. Dive kick.
He's pretty
No, I'm
floaty though, I
pretty
think.
sure I out height you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Double kill.
One sec.
Round
Wait,
7.
did you say 1 sec? Or...
No, we're good. We're good.
Multi kill.
All right.
Round 8. Dive kick. Total failure.
Is this gonna be the TD choke?
Detection warning.
That is basically a part of Jefailey's DNA at this point.
Oh, no TD, but choke still.
I'll take it.
That was a neck at the end, so.
A bit aggressive there at the end. I didn't go for the full. I just wanted to get the win. All right.
Yes, from above. Round 1. Dive kick.
Oh, not fast enough to catch that.
Round 2. Dive kick.
That's looking like that Kung style punish right there.
Round 3. Dive kick.
Eat this. Karate. Karate. Eat this.
Oh. Didn't think you'd go for
Didn't
it.
think I'd fire.
Round 4. Dive kick.
Disqualified!
Ooh,
Ooh.
good weight, good weight.
Round 5. Dive kick.
Johnny! Karate! Oh yeah! Karate!
Oh, okay.
Oh!
Yeah, see, when the bullets start from all the way out across the screen, they take too long to get to the other side. Oh, too quick, too quick.
Round 7. Dive kick.
Karate!
Oh. I got stuck in deer in headlights there. I was like, what do we do?
Round 8. Dive kick.
Ooh.
Feeling myself!
Oh, I think I-
Oh.
Jefailey
that was danger
wins.
zone for a second.
Yeah, yeah. Hype set, 2-2. Going down to the wire.
This from above. Round 1. Dive kick.
Oh yeah!
All right, all right.
Round 2. Dive kick.
Eat this!
Oh no, too close.
Lucky shot!
And about to get Kickfactor. This is bad.
Round 3. Dive kick.
No refund!
Oh no.
Input buffer, I guess.
And now I just have to not mess
I
this
was-
up.
Dive kick.
Yes. The standstill works.
Round
One advantage
It's
is
so
tight
freaking
hangs.
short when he's concussed.
Oh
Alright, I'll
no.
take that.
Yeah.
Hector.
I could have just hung for a little bit and got a headshot there.
6. Dive kick.
Oh.
Lucky shot!
Perfecto. Round 7. Dive kick.
Ooh, very nice inch forward there.
I'm impressed.
Round 8. Dive kick.
Register!
Oh no!
Perfecto.
Oh, I got kicked back at the wrong time!
Always watch your meter, folks.
Wins.
That's a good ending.
You really just wanted a drop kick and it just
Yeah,
went.
if you wanted to drop down, I would have had you.
GG's, GG's.
GG.
Axem, Laitome, thank you for hanging out with me and kind of showing off some Gat weaknesses and strengths and overall just having some fun.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully supple.
All right, hopefully, Jabasted from emote from Blabluer there right at the end for the Jefailey fail here. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully next week we can do another character discussion. But if you guys do want to join us, we are having a tournament this Saturday. I think, did I change the bracket? Let me see. Hopefully I did my work here, and it actually says Tournament 5 here. Yes, it does. Awesome. There's a link for the bracket and the registration for the tournament on Saturday. It's going to be 12 p.m. PDT. Usually lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, and then sometimes we do casuals. If it doesn't go with like the full 3 hours, I'll stick around and play some more games with you guys. All right. I think that's it for the show. Once again, thanks again, Laitome and Axem, for joining in some casual matches.
No
Thanks for
problem.
having us. Yep.
To the audience, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.